Serious question. When will American women stop marrying into British families with the sole purpose of destroying them? We have Harry and Meghan, and now we have Brooklyn Beckham and his wife, Nicola, and the stories seem eerily similar. I am titillated. I am just buzzing with excitement talking about this story because what I love so much about it is that this is very like early 2000s tabloid coded. Nobody's getting online right now and doing 25-part selfie videos. There's no sit-down interviews with Oprah yet. What is happening right now between the Beckham family, it is peak tabloid energy, and it's kind of nostalgic in that way, and I'm kind of loving it. For the most part, this has been a press feud between the Beckham parents, the Beckham son. It's rumors, it's inside sources, it's juicy, and it's also equal parts so freaking stupid. And it speaks, I think, to our broader culture that just seems to be disregarding family everywhere we look. So sit back, relax, get yourself a fun little beverage. I have my Shirley Temple because this story has love, it has betrayal, it has weddings, it has prenup, insecurity, and it reminds me that so often mo money just creates mo problems. Now, before we dive into this, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and of course, if you want to stay up to date and get notifications on every single one of these very fun videos that we release 4 days a week, make sure that you ring that little bell. Brooklyn Beckham is the oldest son of David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. He is the golden boy. You know, he is the non-royal prince of the UK. You know, there were paparazzis hounding the Beckhams when they walked out of that hospital holding little baby Brooklyn. I am telling you, it is almost equivalent to, you know, Kate and William walking out with their firstborn son, the heir to the British Empire. That is basically Brooklyn Beckham. And this young man, the golden boy, just did an 8-slide notes app story on Instagram saying that he is done with his family once and for all. He is choosing his wife over them. And apparently, it all revolves around their wedding. Now, we are going to dissect the entire thing, but again, if you have not been following the unraveling of this relationship for the last 4 years, like some people online, then let me just like catch you up. Again, just sit tight. We are going to get to the current events. All right, so this whole feud, alleged feud, well, obviously now we know that it's a feud, but alleged at the time, it all started back in 2022 over Nicola, which is Brooklyn's wife's, her wedding dress. And now, 4 years later, in 2026, they are still feuding. They are still talking about this woman's wedding dress. In this story, like I kind of mentioned in the tease, you are going to see so many similarities between Brooklyn and Nicola and Meghan and Harry, which is hilarious. Funnily enough, a lot of the drama with Harry and Meghan and the whole royal family also started around their weddings. So maybe the main point here is that everybody needs to chill the F out with the weddings. It's too expensive. It's making everybody go broke. Too dramatic for too many families. Anyway, rumors began swirling 2022 around the wedding that Nicola was feuding with Brooklyn's mom, Victoria. And if you grew up after Victoria's heyday like myself, this is Victoria Beckham. She is Posh Spice from the Spice Girls, now a huge fashion designer. They have a Beckham reality series on Netflix that you should go watch after this because it is super interesting. Anyway, these are the characters at play. But again, 2022, at the time, quotes like this started popping up in the tabloids. Quote, "They can't stand each other and don't talk," a source told Page 6, adding that Victoria was annoyed at Brooklyn posting a magazine cover that referred to Nicola as the, quote, "new Mrs. Beckham." So just remember that, because at the end we're going to talk about the war of the matriarchs, but remember that moment. At the time, in 2022, the family was just trying to keep it together. They were denying all of the rumors. Nicola, you know, came out, she said she was sad that people were misrepresenting her. Victoria was talking about how happy she was for her golden boy, his new wife. Nicola even said outright to a press outlet, there is no feud. Everybody gets along. We love the family. There is no feud. But here's the thing. They might have been able to control their tongues and give specific quotes to certain press outlets, but if there was a feud at the time, which it seems like it was, they were not able to control their faces because at events, when they were trying to, I guess, show appearances, it was pretty clear that they were not getting along. Just look at this video from the Beckham Netflix series premiere in 2023. All right, so clearly something's happening. There's some like pushing around. They're getting into a family photo. Brooklyn walks in. That's Nicola right there. And he's going, come on into the photo. All right. Victoria here, Miss Posh Spice, let's just pause the picture right here. David seems happy, lovely guy, he's jovial, he's talking to his other kids. Victoria, she is locked in. She is posh smizing, I would say. She is in no way welcoming in her son, her daughter-in-law. She looks angry, but she also kind of looks like she's on the verge of tears, like she is holding it together. If she so much as looks at her son and her daughter-in-law, she might break down. Brooklyn here, trying to include his wife, he's bringing her in. She looks pissed. And she also looks like she is on the verge of tears. Like, I need the body language expert to come in, make a video about this. I'm sure that is already on TikTok. I will look for it afterwards. But obviously something was happening. But the thing is, to the outside world, like, they were still showing up. They were posing for pictures together. They were, commenting on each other's Instagram posts going, I love you, I love you. Victoria posted a darling video for Nicola's birthday just a couple of months later. It was a video of them dancing on the beach, and she was like, gosh, I just love you, my darling daughter-in-law. And after that, rumors, the public interest in the entire thing, it just seemed to die down. People were like, maybe they were just having a bad moment. Maybe something was going on. But no. It started up again because then in March of last year, Brooklyn and his brother Romeo allegedly began feuding over a girl that Brooklyn allegedly used to date that was now allegedly dating his younger brother. But here's where it gets even more confusing because Romeo said that this girl never dated Brooklyn, and the other brother, Cruz, even came to his defense and denied it, and Kim, the girl in question, even denied it. She went so far as to put out her own Notes app statement on Instagram. She's saying, I'm setting the record straight for the sake of everyone involved. I have never been romantically involved in any capacity at any point with the person in question. Nothing between us has ever happened. I would like to remove myself. That is how influential and powerful this family is. Just putting in perspective, a random girl is having to put out a statement about whether or not she was an ex of someone or was just friends with him in high school. It is crazy. Fast forward again, giving you all the context here, a few months after that, and there is a whole slew of new drama that takes the airwaves by storm over Brooklyn and Nicola skipping, allegedly, David's 50th birthday party because Brooklyn did not want to be in the same room as this rumored alleged ex-girlfriend Kim, and quote, David opted to have Kim there over Nicola, according to sources. So to the outside world, it's a lot of he said, she said, a lot of tabloid drama, but it was clear that Brooklyn and Nicola were not at David's huge birthday bash. Hundreds of people, crazy thing, photos, media, cameras, they were nowhere in sight. But the thing is, nobody said anything. There was no comment. The attention had been focused elsewhere. Until yesterday. Brooklyn woke up and he decided, enough, I am doing something about it. And 4 years after their wedding, Brooklyn decided to finally come out and speak his truth, and he posted a literal dissertation on his Instagram stories. I'll show you the whole screenshot here. It is a lot. Do not worry, I'm not going to sit here and monologue it for you, even though I would find a lot of pleasure in that. We are going to get through this. We are going to get through the bullet points. And guys, I just have to say, this is the exact non-political drama that I have been craving for in 2026. This is so great. Hope you are enjoying this. All right, let's just start at the beginning of this dissertation. Let's just break this down. So he says, I have been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. All right. Once again, this is not totally true. Again, we have known for over 4 years at this point that there was something happening. And even though there was no Notes app dissertation that was posted, they did make it clear that something was happening. And it wasn't just, not showing up to family events. Again, this all goes back to the wedding. Brooklyn and Nicola went so far as to throw a second wedding after their first wedding. This seems very Harry and Meghan coded. Oh, we just want privacy. Now we're gonna go on tour and do a Netflix show. Like, come on, you're not actually trying to be private here. So Brooklyn next talks about the alleged dress feud that happened between Nicola and Victoria. He said, my parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress weeks before our big day. When I first read this and I saw, the 11th hour, I was like, okay, so that kind of makes sense. Obviously something happened between the two women. He's leaving that part out and kind of just like blaming his mom because we don't know what happened, but did she cancel making the dress a month before? Was it half done? Was it the week before? Did she burn the dress? Like, I can see why that is stressful. But then I went back and I looked at things that were written about the wedding, and I looked at the Vogue profile that was done back in 2022. And the thing is, the Valentino dress that Nicola ended up wearing at the wedding was years in the making, according to Vogue. This is what they wrote. Peltz's custom wedding look is the culmination of a year's worth of conversations with Valentino creative director Pipparello. I'm not even gonna try, guys. 2 trips to Rome headquarters and 2 US fittings. Can you imagine flying all over the world getting wedding dress? If you did do that, amazing. Good for you. That takes a lot of effort. This is not an 11th hour situation. The head seamstress from Italy even journeyed to Miami to make sure that every detail was immaculate on the big day. It was the ultimate couture experience of cherry picking elements from various sketches, fabrics, and embroideries to create Nicola's dream dress. Now, okay, let's just, benefit of the doubt here, trying to be honest and fair, could she have been planning on having multiple different dresses and she ended up having to change that because Victoria decided not to make the dress, so now she only had to wear one dress? Oh God, she only had to wear one dress. I don't know. Did Victoria cancel a year in advance and this made this entire Valentino process more stressful? Like maybe, but again, this is not the 11th hour and like this is so trivial. This is like Michelle Obama on her press tour going, women, it's rare for the woman to be able to wear clothes off the rack.
Where is the woman that can live off the rack?
Yes, they can, Michelle. Normal American women around the world, wear clothing off the rack without getting it tailored, without having a custom couture pantsuit to wear at your $100,000 speaking engagements. And so to that point, women can also buy wedding dresses that are not custom made, that are not six figures, that are not made a year in advance. Wedding planning, it brings out the worst in people, especially at this level with this kind of press and this kind of money. So you are not special in that. Like you have the wedding, it's stressful, you move on. But apparently they were not able to do that. And neither was Harry and Meghan, because again, calling in Harry and Meghan here, it also reminds me of them because over their wedding, there were all of these reports saying Meghan made Princess Catherine cry, she made Princess Charlotte cry, but then in their tell-all, once they left the royal family, Meghan went on Oprah and said, actually, she made me cry. It was like a whole thing.
Did you make Kate cry?
No.
So where did that come from? Was there a situation where she might have cried or she could have cried?
No, the reverse happened.
And apparently, all of it was over what dress Princess Charlotte was going to be wearing at the wedding. So the point that I'm trying to make here with both of them is that the weddings are too much. It is too much. They bring out the worst. But none of this needs to be in the press because, again, it is normal. We don't need to know that Oprah and Tyler Perry are doing a private jet rescue mission to get you out of the UK. We do not need tell-all interviews and memoirs. We do not need Instagram dissertations 4 years after the fact, after your wife had to get her second choice $1 million Valentino wedding dress.
There's people that are dying.
Now, obviously, you don't need to air it out. Probably better for your mental health if you don't air it out, but clearly, I am enjoying it, so thank you, Brooklyn. Now, moving on, we need to talk about the ridiculous amount of privilege that Brooklyn was born into, the fact that he has a Nepo baby. We also need to talk about how many Nepo babies preborn might be saving. And through our partnership with Preborn, we can help save babies and support mothers in need. Every day, Preborn's clinics rescue hundreds of babies through the power of free ultrasounds, which doubles the chance that a mom will choose life. And when she does, Preborn is there to help her every single step of the way with financial support, diapers, car seats, counseling for up to 2 years after that baby is born. That is the type of care that makes motherhood possible. They are not just pro-birth, they are pro-baby and pro-mother. And you can play a role by donating today. Just $28 covers an ultrasound, which again, doubles the chance that a mom will choose life. Go to preborn.com/Brett to give. Again, that is preborn.com/Brett to give and get involved. My friends over at Silencer Shop are bringing you the best suppressors on the market for your firearms. The one upgrade that instantly makes your guns perform quieter with more accuracy and less recoil. Now, yes, before you ask, suppressors are 100% legal in most US states, and Silencer Shop has completely simplified the entire process. You just pick out your suppressor, make your account, sign a couple of forms, and they handle all of the heavy lifting. You can get your suppressor in just a few days. They have helped hundreds of thousands of other shooters do it. And also, one thing I want to say is that Silencer Shop is not just behind the counter. They are out there defending our Second Amendment rights every single day. They put action behind every single thing that they say. So if you want to support a company that supports you and me and make your shooting experience smarter, safer, and seriously just like so much more fun, head on over to silencershop.com/Cooper to get started. Silencer Shop, because shooting suppressed just makes you better. All right, now back to the story. Brooklyn's next claim in this dissertation is over the family name. And guys, I have never rolled my eyes harder. Just listen to this. All right, he says, weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. They were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday, and they have never treated me the same since. Okay, so this is all very vague, and I feel like this is a case of him using very particular vague language designed to confuse people, and saying that he's like signing away his name makes it sound much more dramatic than it is, because he is talking about a business deal here. It is a prenup or something of that nature. I'm guessing that David and Victoria and their wealth managers and the attorneys, they sat him down and they said, listen, Brooklyn, you have an inheritance. You are part of this $450 million family brand. And if you want to benefit from it, if you want to profit off of it, you need to represent it well and help us protect the money. Therefore, here is a prenup, or here we're doing a business deal. You need to be part of this. You need to sign this certain thing to protect the assets, whatever it might be. I'm sorry, Brooklyn, but whether you like it or not, your last name is a brand. That is, unfortunately or fortunately for you, what you were born into. It is a 9-figure business that your parents have been building since from before you were born. Of course, they're going to do everything in their power to protect it. Not just for you, but also for your 3 other siblings that would like to benefit from that money. And you, unfortunately, it's just kind of how the world works, you don't get to cash in and cash out whenever it's convenient. You cannot have access to all of those millions of dollars, free housing, the fake jobs, we'll get to that because it's funny, and you can't have all of that and then trash the family. Somebody said, brand Beckham may be fake, but Brooklyn Beckham still cashed in on it. If he genuinely wanted authenticity, he could have walked away at 18 and earned his own money. Instead, he waited until he secured someone else to bankroll his lifestyle to yap about independence. Boom. Mic drop right there. And again, guys, we are back to the same issue. It is the same thing that we watched unfold with Meghan and Harry. If you are going to benefit from a huge, prolific family name, if you're going to have taxpayers or your parents fund your life, give you jobs, give you houses and castles to live in, you kind of have to do the one job that you have, which is represent the family, do the dance, play the part. But Harry and Meghan, they didn't want to do that. And hey, listen, that is their prerogative. If they found it oppressive and awful, that's fine. They are more than welcome to walk away. It is completely their right, no matter how ridiculous I might think it is. They have every right to feel the way they do. You know, they trashed the royal family. He wrote an entire memoir, a tell-all book about the situation. They did a Netflix series, and understandably, even though they had the right to do that, they did not have the right to do all of that and then still cash in on the family name. Like, understandably, their titles were stripped. They walked away to have this freedom in Montecito from that awful oppression. And yet still, we know now, thanks to all of her interviews, that Meghan has people call her Her Royal Highness in private. They use the Duke and Duchess titles. They have their stamp, their seal. They do that in freaking Montecito. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And it is totally fair that this broke the family and that the remaining royals said, you know what, enough. You don't get to do all of that and still have your titles and still have all of our money. The same thing is happening here. I mean, guys, it is so similar that apparently Brooklyn and Nicola even hired the same crisis PR team as M&H, which I just have to say, I feel like we need to think about their IQ levels, because you cannot look at what happened over the last few years with Harry and Meghan and think that they hired the right team, that the right people were advising them. So like, let's figure out a better team to advise this time. Anyway, ending that rant. Obviously, some people online see it differently from me. They are more Team Brooklyn in this situation. For example, one person said, and I'm going to push back on this, but this person said what he says is true because no unemployed son would give up the free ride for nothing. So what this person is arguing is that it must be so bad that he is willing to walk away from all this money. It's like Harry walking away from the royal family, Meghan, who doesn't have as much money, they're gonna strike it out on their own. He's this unemployed son. He's gonna have to make it. But here's the thing. He's not giving up the free ride. Because listen, the Beckham's $450 million net worth is chump change compared to Nicola's family's $1.6 billion fortune. $1.6 billion. That is what Brooklyn Beckham married into. And this is where they do differ from Harry and Meghan, because Brooklyn jumped from one royal family to another, from a British one to an American that is even more wealthy and even more prominent. And back to this whole family brand and the Beckhams being so oppressive, from everything that we can see from the outside, again, an outsider looking in, the Beckhams do look like good supportive parents. All of the other kids get along with them great. They love each other. They're seemingly brought into the family brand and business. And we know that these parents have supported Brooklyn's 75 million different career changes over the years. Do you guys remember years ago, like was this 2018 maybe, when Brooklyn went viral because he decided that he had finally found his true calling. He was going to be a photographer, and he had this ridiculous photography book in like Urban Outfitters. And I pulled some photos here. They are basically glorified Facebook photos that your mom would post after a vacation. This is one page, and he writes, "Elephants in Kenya. So hard to photograph, but incredible to see." And the elephant is not even in the light. We just see an outline. That does not even look like an elephant. I don't even know what that looks like. He also said, "Dinner. I like this picture. It's out of focus, but you can tell there's a lot going on." And it's just a shaky photo of a dinner table. Now, after that, he went on to cooking. His specialty was blowtorching grilled cheese. Like, just watch this video, guys.
And then, of course, enjoy it.
I mean, guys, it's literally like he is the male Meghan Markle in this situation. We have her With Love Meghan show where she's putting flower petals on everything and showing us how to make like pasta in a skillet pan. My favorite part of this entire video is Brooklyn cutting up this Kraft mac and cheese, grilled cheese, and he's like, chop, chop, just cut the bread like a normal person. But no, he has to do his signature tap, blowtorch it after it's already been on the pan. Like, guys, it is so ridiculous. There are countless articles written about the spectacle that was Brooklyn's Nepo baby career path. This one was my favorite. I know I'm going off here, but guys, it's so much fun. Brooklyn Beckham's ever-evolving career path is a balm in our dark times. So the author writes, in these straitened times, I simply do not wish to deprive myself of the amusement. I have hugely enjoyed every single one of the high-profile professions thus far embraced by Brooklyn 23. Footballer, art photographer, published monograph author, model, and now chef. Is there nothing he can do? Is there anything he can actually accomplish? It's literally me. I'm not going to deprive myself of talking about this. It's too much fun. The world is so crazy. It is so dark. Everybody's broke and sad and miserable. We're fighting in the streets. I will not deprive myself of this humor. This is what makes life worth living, is comedy, is humor. Anyway, the article goes on, and Brooklyn says that he hopes to use television to ensconce himself in the food world. He said, I've always said to my wife, we should actually do a reality TV show because she's so funny. I want to have so many TV shows, and hopefully we will one day open up a pub in LA because LA needs a pub. The interviewer drops that while he won't share specifics, he is planning to launch a branded product in the sauce department later this year. And he did! They launched a hot sauce brand, and guess who was there supporting them? David and Victoria. God love them. They showed up every time. Every food video, every art photography launch, gallery launch, they supported it and they probably funded it. And meanwhile, his brother's Cruz, he's like building this music career. His brother Romeo is modeling, he's playing football. Harper, the daughter, is still a kid. They all seem to be really close with their parents. Like maybe the problem isn't actually the wedding dress or Victoria at the wedding. And I just know that Harry and Meghan are breathing a sigh of relief because a new family is taking over in the media. And hopefully, you know, this hides the fact that with love, Meghan is not returning to Netflix for a third season. Sorry, I just had to put that in there because it is being overshadowed, but I will not allow it to be overshadowed. Anyway, back to the point. We are now reaching what is probably the most talked about part of this entire drama, the saga, the dissertation. It's Nicola and Brooklyn's first dance. Again, at the wedding. He writes, my mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance to a romantic love song. In front of our 500 wedding guests at their first wedding, Mark Anthony, the singer, called me to the stage where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife. But instead, my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I have never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. Guys, this is where it gets spicy. You cannot come back from publicly posting that your mother, one of the most famous women in the world, danced inappropriately on you. Not with you, on you. This is now officially the most memeified part of this entire scandal. The videos are hilarious. Just look at this. This person said, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Brooklyn and Nicola to the dance floor as they share their first dance as a married couple. And then this is what Victoria does. She's getting ready to like shake her booty on her son. I don't know what happened there, but something obviously did. And here's the thing. We've known for a while that something odd happened with a dance. It was reported in a blind item back in 2022 in Dumois. Like we know that something unfolded, but you know, it might not have been Victoria's fault. The singer Mark Anthony was performing and he out of nowhere made it about Victoria. Like he brought her up on stage, was like the most beautiful woman in the room, which obviously was not going to feel good to the bride, Nicola. Maybe he was confused, got the schedule wrong, people just went along with it, or obviously maybe Victoria did do this. Like she is diva posh spice after all. Maybe this really is a her problem. Maybe Brooklyn, because of all the drama, didn't want to have a mother-son dance and she was like, not on my watch, I'm going to make this happen. I don't know, but clearly there was a situation. But again, what I need to say is that weddings are crazy. There is miscommunication. People get sad, things happen, and you move on. I mean, guys, we had normal family wedding drama on both sides. Some people didn't show up, people were hurt, seating charts were mixed up. We thought we had booked a cleanup crew for our wedding, but apparently we didn't. So Alex and I literally stayed and cleaned up our wedding after everybody was leaving. Like all of that happened. And honestly, we have crazy stories on both sides of our families for like other weddings, our parents' weddings. And listen, none of us are here disavowing anyone 2 years later. You let that go because weddings are crazy and families are hard. But apparently we're the anomaly because Brooklyn did not calm down. He then talked about his family allegedly icing Nicola out over the years. He said, my wife has been consistently disrespected by my family no matter how hard we have tried to come together as one. My mom has repeatedly invited women from my past into our lives in ways that were clearly intended to make us both uncomfortable. Maybe that's the ex-girlfriend, the alleged one, who knows. He also said that his parents were sending his siblings out to attack him, that they had blocked him. But the thing is, like, he blocked them first. There was a whole story years before that about him blocking his family. Like, that is public knowledge. And again, the sibling part part is so sad, and it brings me back to Harry and Meghan. Her distance and her trashing the family, it caused a huge rift between Harry and his brother William, something that both of them are openly very upset about and that they don't think they will ever get over. All of this is so nuanced. It's so he said, she said. He's saying all of the things that happened, but he's also leaving out big parts of the story, like the motivators for why a woman might have showed up, why his brother was dating somebody, why the dress was canceled, how all of that happened. There is a lot of omitted truths here. It feels like nobody knows what the F is going on.
Thank you for testing our friendship glamour. We will see you next time.
You know, maybe it is true that his family doesn't really like her as much as the other girlfriends. She could also be, you know, controlling and entitled and conniving. People have called her the Hollywood mean girl in the past, but also his mom is posh freaking spice. She is a diva. She could also be controlling and overbearing in a way. You know, maybe her bad side came out during the wedding. Probably maybe why he picked to marry Nicola. You know, Freud would have a field day with that. I don't know. But also, you know, like this could be, you know, a fight of the matriarchs. Mrs. Beckham and the new Mrs. Beckham. Remember, allegedly, Victoria got super angry over that magazine cover calling Nicola the new Mrs. Beckham. And, you know, maybe Brooklyn is sitting here in the middle trying to define his own independent family away from the family brand. But again, that's kind of hard to do when the brand and the family funds your life and has been funding basically your entire adult life as you flit around blow-torching grilled cheeses and taking blurry photos. Like, it's kind of hard to distance yourself away from that until you have a fallback, which is his wife's $1.6 billion fortune. There is a lot there in, you know, that 8-page dissertation, but there is a lot, again, that was omitted. Maybe there is something in there that we did not hear, a straw that broke the camel's back. He's, you know, now securely married to a billionaire's daughter. He says, I'm done finally, who knows? But what I will say is it just across the board, family is complicated. It's really hard. It is for everyone, no matter how much money you have. And growing up and getting married and having children, starting your own family, what I'm going through right now, what so many of you guys are going through and have gone through, it is also complicated. It's a new experience. You have to bend and adapt and start new traditions and prioritize your new family, but also respect where you came from. And everyone, most importantly, has to be involved and has to be willing to go along with that and try and support each other and love each other. But airing this out publicly, like cutting people off, it is messy. And unfortunately, it feels like that is just becoming increasingly common in our culture, in our society that does not value family, that does not see the importance of holding those bonds together. We are at a time where for decades, both men and women now are being told to stay single, you'll be better for it, you'll make more money, you'll live longer, all of these things if you just don't get married. You don't need to have a family, you just need to eat, pray, love, and go find yourself. And like, not to make it political, but it kind of is inherently political. But like, is anybody surprised that this is happening, that it's becoming more common in a world where people proudly cut off their close, immediate family members due to politics? I'm thinking about what we talked about just back in November, I think it was, the Teen Vogue editor, the panelist at their event, who was listing off on stage all of her family members, her brothers, her sisters, her mothers, her fathers, her stepfathers, whatever it is, all the people that she has blocked and no longer speaks to. She said that behind the microphone on stage to applause. That is the world that we live in. It's insane. It's not normal, but it is happening everywhere. It's been encouraged by politicians, by the media, by Hollywood. It has been applauded. And so now think about this huge family, this brand, this business. Add in the press and paparazzi and billions of dollars and egos and divas and brands. It is a recipe for disaster. And some personalities, you know, will get too big for their britches. They won't want to bend and fold. They just tear the whole thing down when in reality, they should have just had some humility and at least tried. And that could be Victoria in this situation. It could be Brooklyn. It could be Nicola. And that's unfortunate for them. And I've sat here and I've laughed and I've said that I'm, you know, titillated to talk about this, but objectively, it's sad because you're watching this family be torn apart. Like, they should have learned from Harry and Meghan, but you know, maybe this young couple is just not that smart. I will say that is the only insider tea that I do have from people who have met this couple, who know them, that maybe it isn't all manipulation, especially from Brooklyn. Maybe it's not from him. I don't know about his wife. Just saying. But at least for him, it just seems like the blurry photographer, blowtorch chef doesn't have a lot going on upstairs. And I say that kindly. And another point, as much as we can, you know, sit back in our homes and say, you know, like celebrities, they don't get us. It's kind of ironic because we still get them. We still see ourselves in these stories and these scandals and this drama, their problems, the catastrophes. It all happens at an extremely high level, high profile, high net worth, but it's still similar things in a way that we all go through every single day, that new families have to deal with and overcome. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they are handling it in the best way. So we can learn from that and we can at least have some solace and some pride in that.